My niece snuck into my daughter's room and destroyed her rare book collection. Now my sister refuses to pay for the damage. My 42F daughter Brooke 16 has been reading since she was 5. She has always loved books and she would spend her allowance that we gave her on the newest book in the latest series that she was reading. It's pretty safe to say that her book collection is huge and filled with all kinds of limited edition and special edition books. Recently she used her allowance to get a new special edition version of a book she already had because she has been saving up for it and was very excited to get it when it came out. Well, my sister Lindsay, 36, came over on Saturday with her daughter Mariah, 13, to spend time with us because it's been a while since we got to hang out and we were just catching up. Mariah started to head to Brooke's room, but I stopped her and told her that Brooke was out and she would be home in 20 minutes, so I suggested that she wait down here with us and tell me about how school was going. She talked for about 10 minutes before she said that she had to go to the bathroom. We have 2 bathrooms in our house, one upstairs and one downstairs, not including our en-suite. Unfortunately, the downstairs one is having some issues, so I told her that it was okay to use the one upstairs for now until the one downstairs is fixed. She said okay and went upstairs. While I was talking to my sister, Brooke came home, said hi and quickly went upstairs to change. She wasn't up there for 5 minutes when I heard a loud scream and quickly ran to check on my daughter. When I got to her room, my jaw dropped when I saw several of her books, including the new special edition one, destroyed with ripped pages everywhere and Brooke in tears at the destruction. Brooke is very non-controversial and hates arguing or fighting with people, so I stepped in for her. I told Mariah that she needs to apologize to Brooke, clean up the mess she made, and that she would no longer be welcomed in my house. I then turned to my sister and told her that she needed to reimburse Brooke for the books that her daughter destroyed. Lindsay argued with me that Mariah was just a kid and she didn't know what she was doing, but I told her that Mariah is old enough to know right from wrong and what she did was wrong. Lindsay argued back that if my daughter didn't want her books touched that they shouldn't have been out. I lost my cool and told her that they weren't out. They were put away in her room where Mariah wasn't allowed to be without Brooke's permission. Lindsay refused to pay Brooke back and called me a greedy bitch before leaving with Mariah right behind her. I told my husband about this and he was absolutely on our side, and he agreed that Lindsay needs to pay Brooke back for the books that she lost and can't replace as they were special limited edition that she can't get back. This whole thing has really blown up and my side of the family is telling me that I'm being too hard on Mariah, that she's just a kid, but I don't think I am. She destroyed my daughter's property and she needs to know that her actions have consequences, so I'm asking here, was I the R for demanding that my sister pay me back? Eta, I have seen some people ask and I'm going to add a bit of information. Mariah has always had a fascination with Brooke's book collection, and last year Brooke let her borrow 2 books because Mariah said that she wanted to start reading, and since Brooke loves reading so much she thought it was a good idea to let Mariah borrow a couple. Well, 2 weeks passed and the books came back damaged, nothing like this but definitely not in good condition anymore, so Brooke told her that she was not allowed to borrow her books anymore. Mariah was angry at that and yelled at my daughter, and since then Brooke has kept Mariah away from her books. My husband and I think this is what caused Mariah to do what she did to Brooke's books. AITA for reporting my now ex-husband's girlfriend and getting her fired. In summer 2023, my then-husband was arrested for domestic violence against me. Tale as old as time, I ended up going back to him the following month. November 2023, he ended up strangling me. Because there was a restraining order from the first incident, he went immediately to rehab per the advice of his lawyer to avoid going to jail. This rehab was a VA rehab, as my ex-husband is a veteran. I had a friend reach out to me who heard through the grapevine that my ex-husband was dating a nurse. When I heard this, I was conflicted on whether or not I wanted to report it. After talking to my friend and my therapist, they convinced me to report it. My deciding factor was that he couldn't focus on his sobriety if he was too busy with a new relationship, and I wanted him to be sober for our kids' sake. When the VA finally got back to me about their investigation, they informed me that she was going to be let go, and that I was not the only one to inform them about the affair, and the relationship was not the only reason they decided to part ways. Fast forward, he's still with the nurse. They accused me of being evil and vile, and just a horrible human being for turning her in and risking her livelihood that she had to take care of her children. In the text, they also threatened to come to my job and my current relationship, along with so many verbal insults about my intelligence, appearance, and how I am an awful mother and the kids' only hope for a normal life is with them. I was also called stupid because she's going to go back and work at the VA business office, and I just made a fool out of myself by saying anything and being bitter. I didn't consider her or her children when making the phone call. I kind of feel like the kid who went and tattled. I had no idea that this person was going to turn out to be the love of his life. Was I the asshole by turning her in when I found he was having an affair with his nurse in a VA rehab? AITAH because my brother's wife doesn't know the difference between LOTTR and GOT, so I M39 was babysitting my 9-year-old niece for the evening while my brother and his wife 31 had a date night. We were playing Legos and tea party dress up. I jokingly took one of her rings and said, "My precious," she didn't get the reference. I said, "You know, like Gollum/Smeagol, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit." She didn't get the reference. This shocked me. We are from a very sci-fi and fantasy family. She's a little nerd like me. We even read comics together. So I made some popcorn and we watched Fellowship of the Ring together. She loved it. She liked The Hobbit's The Elves' Magic Ring. She wanted to see the next one. It was late. I put her to bed. Brother and his wife came home. I left. Next morning I get a phone call. Brother's wife is furious with me. My niece woke up asking to see the next one and asked if the dragons would be in this one, because I said there's no dragons until the prequels. My sister-in-law is freaked out, screaming about how I could be so irresponsible to show her that. I'm confused as hell because we saw the same things at her age. She's yelling at me about sex and incest and heads being hacked off. I'm confused by this and said, "What the hell are you talking about? There's nothing like that in it." Sis-in-law is beside herself, ranting and screaming mad about how I'll never babysit again. My brother gets on the phone and explains that his wife doesn't know the difference between Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. Apparently she doesn't see the difference, and he can't explain that to her. So now they are pissed off at me because she's too ignorant to know the difference between a movie and a TV series. I might not get to babysit my niece again over it. For context, the wife is not into it because she has a short attention span and doesn't actually watch anything when it's playing. She's always on the phone, so she never sees any distinction between any of it. All she sees are swords, horses, and magic. My niece has seen every Star Wars except the holiday special. She loves dragons and aliens. Her favorite doll is Grogu, and she absolutely did not find anything scary. We grew up watching that stuff. The wife didn't. My brother has issues and is the non-confrontational type. AITA for refusing to go on a family trip after my sister called me the family failure. So I, 25F, have always had a bit of a rocky relationship with my older sister, 27F. She's always been the golden child in our family, straight A's, great job, married with kids, you get the idea. Meanwhile, I took a different path. I struggled through college, jumped between jobs, and I'm currently working a retail job while trying to figure out my career. Not perfect, but I'm doing my best. Last week, we had a family dinner where my parents announced they wanted to take the whole family on a vacation to celebrate their anniversary. It sounded nice until my sister started joking about how she hopes I can actually afford to take time off. She then followed it up by saying, "It's okay, we all know you're the family failure, but at least you're fun to have around." Everyone laughed. I awkwardly smiled, but inside I was done. This isn't the first time she's made comments like that, but it hit differently this time. After the dinner, I told my parents I wasn't comfortable going on the trip. They tried to brush it off as my sister just joking, but I told them I'm tired of being disrespected. Now my whole family is upset with me. My sister texted me saying I'm being dramatic and that I'm ruining the trip for everyone. My parents said they understand I'm hurt, but I should come and not let her get to me. I really don't want to go, but now I feel guilty for upsetting everyone. AITA for saying no to the trip.